Figures have a big role this year. Joins him in the backfield. Morgan on the run. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
After the block punt, you got Minnesota with a nice little fake here. They catch Michigan out of position. This is what I think happened on this play. So play design, you have a backside tight end coming across on a deeper cross towards the front of the end zone here. You're going to slip out Ibrahim here. On the outside, on the backside, you're just going to take Vincent Gray out of the play here. That's the route on the outside here. So everyone's flowing this way. This is just to get everyone reacting to the play action here to this running back, right? Get everyone going this way. Get your linebackers flowing this way. Create a mismatch on the backside here, or I guess the front side. Get Ibrahim in space. Bring the tight end over the top. You only have one safety to cover, and the linebackers will be out of position. That's the play design, and you know what? It kind of works pretty well. So here's the fake to the running back. And right away, you can already see the initial motion that you get out of Ross. He's already lost this route. He's way too late recognizing the play fake here. He doesn't know where the ball is. Only now does Josh Ross understand, this guy has the ball, and he is looking at Ibrahim here. So with the tight end screaming across here, safety's deep here, Dax Hill doesn't really have a chance against this route, right? You have this guy screaming across here. This is going to be Brad Hawkins' responsibility. Since Ibrahim is free out here, he has to come up to take this away. This is actually supposed to be Josh Ross's responsibility. Since Josh Ross isn't there, you have Brad Hawkins who has to come up and help and take that away. What that does, that leaves his open spot behind Josh Ross. You can see Josh Ross is trying to get out here. Way too much space, obviously. That leaves this guy open. At the end of this play, you actually saw Dax Hill here pointing kind of like a what's going on over to Brad Hawkins because he's up here. He's up here to account for the misplay by Josh Ross. Since he has to compensate there, that opens up this tight end. Tanner Morgan sees that, delivers, and that's a touchdown. So miscommunication. Ross has to do a little bit better on his assignment there.
Morgan from the pocket takes a downfield shot, and coming back and making the catches off and Bell reacted beautifully to the...
Man, what are you going to do? I feel bad for Jim Green here. You're actually going to see on the pass rush, just to point out, you're going to see Kwity Paye on the backside here just completely own the left tackle here, and he flies by. He almost gets a pressure here, even though Minnesota's in mass protect. So a little bit of a speed rush there from Paye, almost gets there. But it's just a one-on-one route, kind of just a fade route, fly route, whatever you want to call this, on the outside release here. And Jim Green is one-on-one against Auden Bell. Auden Bell is the second leading receiver for Minnesota, a returning receiver. And this is a ball that the thing to pay attention for me is Jimmy Green's right there. That's number one. He's stride for stride with this guy, so he's in great position. He has good technique, hand on the hip, you can see, and he's got his head around as well. So he sees the ball, and there's just a subtle little push there from Auden Bell right at the end there. It's not going to get called a whole lot, and it wasn't on this play, but Jimmy Green's right there. If that's a properly thrown ball, he's contesting that. Since it's underthrown, the wide receiver does make a nice adjustment, but could get called for an offensive pass interference. You can see there's clearly some extra movement there from Jimmy Green that's not natural, right? He got shoved a little bit there. That created that separation at the end of that play. So overall, I'm not going to ding Jimmy Green on that. He was stride for stride with the wide receiver, just a crafty little play. Here's another look at the route from the wide receiver. Again, good technique, hand on the hip, right in his back pocket, runs the route for him, and there's the little shove. So that's something where Jimmy Green's right there. His athleticism is up there. Just adjust to the ball a little bit better, but could have been called for offensive pass interference. So I'm not upset about this long completion at all.
Hurry. Morgan still got the football. Pump fakes. Downfield. He was trying to get the ball to Bateman, who was very...
This was called pass interference. I hate this call. It's a little play action. It shouldn't have been called. But anyway, little play action to Ibrahim. He's going to go out to the flat here. I don't know exactly what route this is. I'm not really paying attention up here. Minnesota keeps 6 in pass protect, these fellas, and Michigan's going to send 4. You got Paye, Welshoff, Hutchinson. You got Ben Van Sumeren as well. Only guy notable here is going to be Aiden Hutchinson, who does get some pressure late. He tries to get a hand up in the throwing pass of Tanner Morgan down the field here to Bateman. This will be the matchup to watch, but looking at just the pass rush, Hutchinson gets a little bit of pressure late, but overall it's plenty of time for Tanner Morgan to go through his reads and deliver a ball. Looking at the routes here, you're just going to have at the bottom of your screen a little hitch from this outside receiver, and then for Bateman you're going to have some fancy footwork as kind of like a hitch and go. And Dax Hill is tasked with covering. Dax Hill is one of the best cover guys on Michigan's team, and he's going to go stride for stride with him down the seam here. So, thing I hate about this, you see good coverage here. Dax actually bites a little bit, really good route, and then he turns his hips. You can just see that athleticism really shiny for Dax Hill. Does he get there early? Yeah. Like he's there, right? But a key component between holding and interference. Holding comes before the throw. Holding doesn't matter whether the ball is catchable or not. This was called pass interference. A key component was the ball catchable. I don't think, regardless of where Dax Hill is here, this ball is not being caught. This ball is 5 yards over the head of Bateman. There's another angle I'll show here. There's no possible way this wide receiver, if Dax Hill isn't there, is going up to get that. Bateman's a great wide receiver. He's not catching that. So does he get there a little bit early? Yeah, it's kind of like a bang-bang play. Again, if this ball was lower, it's probably right where his hands are at the time of the contact anyway. So I hate this call. It shouldn't have been called. It's not catchable. I think Dax Hill was there at the right time as well. If the ball was 5 yards lower, I rest my case. Bad call. I like Dax Hill's cover there.
Motion him across, and Ibrahim running left, weaves his way through traffic, and
nice chase down from Upshaw here. We'll get to that. So why was this play successful? I think the main reason you can say is Michigan ran a stunt, and the stunt is right here on the backside. Let me pull it up here. You're going to have Welshoff in the middle here. He's going to loop around over here. This is a standard down, and Michigan decides to go with the stunt at a really bad time. So you're going to have these two defensive linemen crashing down. I don't know why I changed the color there. You're going to have Welshoff going around the outside. These two offensive linemen crashing down here, Kemp and Upshaw. And the play is clearly going this way. Welshoff vacating here allows for these offensive linemen to reach the second level, right? So that's going to give plenty of room for both these guys getting to this linebacker level. You're going to have Cam McGrone trying to flow. You're going to have Dax Hill trying to flow. And you have two guys with a free release to go out to get them. So that's not great, right? You can see 60 and 65 offensive linemen. They pick up those linebackers flowing to the play. So that really opens up. And that's like 5 yards downfield. So free release to the second level. They can really easily get to those guys. And you see Welshoff is out of the play because of this called stunt. So they stunt away from this play, and that opens up just a huge cavern. So you have a good job from Aiden Hutchinson actually keeping his ground here, pushing well into the backfield on 70 here. He gets upfield a couple of yards. It's just too much on the inside for a lane for Ibrahim to cut into. Biggest loss on the play is Barrett. Barrett gets really pushed back from this tight end. He gives up 5 to 7 yards, and he just gets completely washed out of that play. Again, it gives plenty of room for Ibrahim to cut off of, and that's a killer on this play. So it's kind of twofold between Barrett emphatically losing that block on an otherwise great day for him, as well as the stunt away. So there's only so much Hutchinson can do on the play side. One thing to watch, though, I mentioned it. Great hustle play from Upshaw on the backside. He's all the way back here. He follows this all the way, saves a touchdown, saves 4 points. Minnesota only got a field goal out of this. So that's a sort of play that gets you a helmet, a sticker, gets you more playing time from him hustling down the line of scrimmage, not giving up on the play. Ibrahim thinks he has a touchdown. He doesn't expect defensive end to catch from behind. He does, saves a TD.
He's got it again. Cuts back to the right this time. Fighting down, banging down.
Ibrahim bounces around to the outside for a touchdown. Let's first look at the offensive line. You're going to have a rare play where Hutchinson gets caved inside. So these three guys are going to get down blocked by 64, 77, and 85. Watch him especially on this first rep here. He's going to really eliminate Hutchinson, get him turned around. That's something that's pretty hard to do against a really good player like Hutchinson. You see he gets good movement, a good pop, and Hutchinson is removed. That really forms this left side of this edge here. Next guy to watch, we'll rewind here. Watch Brad Hawkins. So he's screaming down towards the line of scrimmage, right? He's trying to fill this gap here. You're going to have 88 kind of block him in the shoulder and then block him from behind. This is legal. I'll pull up the rule where it says it is legal, but Brad Hawkins' job is to not let anything outside of him, right? Force Ibrahim back towards the inside. Just don't let anything bounce because there's lots of open room. Doesn't do his job. He comes down a little too hard. I think he should have fought through this block maybe. But since he's he doesn't have that outside leverage here. That block from 88 eliminates him from the play, and now you have Ibrahim in space. That's pretty scary. Moving forward here, you have Vincent Gray losing his block against number 7, and then you have Makari Paige flowing from the backside, Dax Hill coming down. I think Dax Hill could have done a better job here, being closer here than where he is. This just leaves too many options for Ibrahim still, so he can't really be decisive at where he is. You can see, let's move back here. Dax Hill doesn't come down until a little bit too late. I think he should be using that speed to come down. If he's right here instead, where I think he probably should be, if he's right here, that cuts down a lot of options for Ibrahim. He's probably taking a tackle with Hawkins and Paige, but again, it's just too much space. So that combined with the loss of Vincent Gray here, Paige and Dax Hill both kind of miss a tackle here, and only then does Gray get contact before Ibrahim falls into the end zone. So good blocking from the offense. Could have done better for a couple guys from Michigan.
On 2nd and 10, they fake it to him. Morgan throws a slant. Bateman cuts back and finally gets space. And number 0.
Paige gets a full ride scholarship to Bateman Academy here. Nothing much you can do against that. A little play action fake here. Watch the eyes of Tanner Morgan right away on Josh Ross here in the center of the field. So let's just watch that. Right away you can see the eyes of Tanner Morgan right at that linebacker, and then he shifts and boom, it's on to Bateman. So pass rush doesn't really get there. Michigan sending 5, nothing really notable there. You got 6 in to protect plus Ibrahim. So the pass rush isn't going to get home. It's a quick throw anyway, so Tanner Morgan delivers on time. That's just not something you're going to beat often. So then we'll look at the route from Bateman. But first, actually, so he catches the ball, right? We'll look at the route in a second. Main issue here that I have for Paige, he's got to trust that he has a safety coming down for help. He's got Ross just in case that, Bateman wants to bounce it this way. He's got help, right? They're all converging on this area. Paige has got to know, hey, I need to be tackling right here, not attacking this way, because that gives enough room for Bateman's a NFL talent, but he makes a nifty move and cuts that way. This is just a true freshman safety, not understanding where he needs to be and what the possibility that Bateman can be making in this scenario. So since he loses that, right, his path is headed right into his teammate instead of kind of forming this triangle, right, of focusing on him. If he's here, this isn't going to work, and you can just wrap up short of the sticks, but he gives plenty of room for Bateman to pick up an extra 15 yards here. So let's look at the route real quick for Bateman. It's just a really nice technician route here, outside release slant route, foot in the ground, Paige is a step behind, okay, all right, and then again, foot in the ground and cut, stops and go. It's an NFL move. You're going to got true freshman safety. Learn from it, move on.
For Alabama on the opening kickoff in the win over Tennessee. You just hate to see one of the great playmakers in the sport sideline. Ibrahim breaks free.
I think Ibrahim can be like a third-team All-Big Ten. He's got some moves, man. I'm telling you what. So offensive line is just kind of zone blocking, I think. So this is probably inside zone that bounces, but everyone's blocking down. You're going to have a really thunderous block from this H-back here on Mike Barrett on the backside here. So let's just look at kind of how Hutchinson and Barrett do here. You can't really blame them. The motion's going this way, so obviously you're going to have Michigan flowing this way. Hutchinson actually holds up pretty well on 85 here. No movement there. He establishes himself pretty well. And there you see 88 on kind of a crack block on Barrett. Eliminates him from the play. So 2 issues I have here. First is kind of obvious. You have Paige filling this sort of gap here, right? He is approaching the end line of scrimmage. He's actually unblocked, so he's just backside kind of filling this gap that's kind of forming for Ibrahim. His issue is he just comes down way too hard. He should be breaking down. He should keep himself pointed this way, perpendicular with the line of scrimmage. Instead, his motion is taking him sort of parallel. He's still moving this way. He doesn't break down soon enough. Ibrahim does a really good job noticing that, makes him pay for it, right? Too much motion going one way and breaks the ankles of Makari Paige. And the issue beyond that is Vincent Gray. Vincent Gray is supposed to be filling the gap here, right? He also recognizes where this sort of gap is forming on the backside here. So he comes up. He's a little bit too lackadaisical. Again, if he comes up, breaks down, and then can react here to what the running back does, eventually bounces, he'd be there. Instead, he's a little bit lackadaisical in his form and his technique. and that allows a good bounce here from Ibrahim. Obviously he jukes Paige, but then you have a really bad case for Vincent Gray, who's too far inside. We should understand that Paige is the one who has this inside responsibility here. He's crashing down hard. If he fills right here, theoretically that should break every opportunity of a bounce here. Instead, he's late doing so. So I think it's a combination of both Paige coming down way too hard and an inappropriate fill here for Vincent Gray, who's kind of acting like a safety in this role. Doesn't get there, gets stiff armed to oblivion. It's a good running back. Tell you what, I like this Ibrahim guy a lot, and he picks up a big chunk. Good job from Ross chasing it down at least.
On stopping the run.
Morgan stumbles as he drops back on 3rd and 11, but Bateman's got the ball in space.
Crossing route here, honestly didn't see this a whole lot for Michigan. First thing you'll notice on the pass rush, Michigan is sending 5. You got McGrone off the edge, Welshoff, Jeter. You have kind of the dynamic duo, Salt and Pepper of Hutchinson Pay on the left side. They both kind of beat their guys here, but it's a quick throw on a crossing pattern, so the main routes to pay attention to. This guy coming across, he's actually going to try to block Makari Paige here, and then you're going to have Bateman. He's number 1 target here, and this is where Tanner Morgan's looking the whole way. So low snap, it actually almost falls over on his drop back. You can see pressure is getting there. Tanner Morgan moves to his right to avoid that. And again, let's just look at the route real quick here. You can see Paige right now is recognizing, I'm in trouble. This guy's coming right at me. He redirects, and that gives just a little bit more space for Bateman on this throw. If the throw's a little bit better, you could see this as a bigger pickup for Bateman, since he has to come back towards Tanner Morgan a little bit. He has to, redirect from this line. He has to come back this way. That gives Makari Paige a little bit more time to reroute. Good angle redirection here from Paige, and he actually tracks it down pretty nicely. So this is just, when you're in man and you have crossing routes with no linebackers over the middle, what are you going to do? Paige actually does a good job of getting back to Bateman after the catch, limiting it to an 11, 12-yard gain. So it's a good job from Paige, at least recognizing the mesh there and working across it. This is just a man beater, and luckily he's able to limit it to 11 yards. So it's a good job from Paige. It's just a better play design for the man coverage that Michigan had in this scenario. Didn't happen a whole lot. I'm guessing it wasn't put on film a whole lot for Michigan either. So this is just a better offensive call than defensive call in this scenario.